Good job, Alicia. First time with the new mouth, guys. Hey guys, it's Lulu Rain. I'm sorry, I've been really MIA. I haven't posted in a few weeks. I don't really have great excuse. I've been really busy. My seasonal depression hasn't been super great. But also, I mean, a lot of great things have been happening. I went to Jamaica recently. I'm almost done with the semester of school. I'm planning my wedding. Just a lot's going on, so I haven't really had the time to film. But I was sitting here today, I was doing chores, and I figured I had time. And I was looking through my dreams, because since my last dream that I shared with you guys, that dream was the highest dream that I had. Like, that, I believe that dream was number 55. I'm already up to number 65, I believe. I think I'm 10 dreams after that. If I'm not, yeah, I'm on dream 65 now, as you can see. But I did want to go back. I wanted to share dream number 57 with you guys. Super short, super sweet. I just really loved it. So this dream, I filmed this video for this dream probably 1,000 times. It was about a friend of mine who's been in a lot of my dreams. She's one of my best friends, but I'm gonna keep her name out of it. I'm just gonna call her Sandra, because this dream is a very accurate representation of her family, and it's not exactly painting them in the best light, and I don't want to create any issues, so I'm just gonna call her Sandra. So the dream started out, my fiance and I, Josh, we were dropping our friend Sandra off at her house, and the house looked a lot like her family's house does in real life. It's very big, it kind of sits on a hill, but in the dream it was kind of at like the base of like a national park or like a mountain sort of situation. I don't really know how to explain it. Like surrounding the little neighborhood, like, because the neighborhood was kind of like in an alcove. Anyway, the neighborhood was kind of like down this little side street that was at the base of the mountain. Because at the base it was still kind of woodsy, a lot of it was like fenced off, but then there was these little streets that would like go into it. And their house was kind of the length of that entire neighborhood, and it was further up against the hill of this like national park kind of situation. And this is very badly drawn, but like this is the street right here, and this is like their rounded driveway. And these are the houses, like, kind of along the street in front of them. So you see, there's no houses next to them. They're, like, in front, kind of, like, along the street. And, like, you could see into their yards and stuff. They were dropping her home there. It started out really normal. We see her all the time. We hang out with her all the time. So we were dropping her off, and we walk her in. I don't remember why we went in too, but we went in with her. And her mother just kind of started going off on her, which isn't really out of the ordinary either. So, you know, Josh and I stuck around in case, you know, we needed to bounce again. And we were in the kitchen. I don't even remember what she was going off on her about. I remember it was over something really simple in the dream, which again, very accurate to real life. And I was like trying to hold my tongue, and she was like fighting her and fighting her and fighting her. And Sandra was like, nah, I got it. So Josh and I just stood back. And then when we were in the kitchen and her mom was fighting her, a bunch of her siblings showed up. And they all, like, kind of ganged up on her. And all of a sudden, her mom starts, like, throwing herself into, like, the cabinets and, like, into the kitchen island. And she's, like, freaking out. And she's like, oh, Sandra's beating me. She's hurting me. And all her siblings were seeing that that wasn't actually true. And they were, like, going along with it. And they were like, ooh, Sandra's hurting Mom. She's hurting Mom. Better call the cops. And I immediately was just like, we need to get out of here. And they were like, why? We didn't do anything. We can't, you know, if we run, that makes us look bad. I was like, think about it, you guys. There's 3 of us against like 12 of them. Who are they gonna believe? And they were like, good point. So we bounce. We run through all the neighbors' yards that I showed you guys in the picture. We like ran straight out of the house, right down into their yards and stuff. There was still kind of like woods when you hit the main road. So we were kind of going through like trees. And the cops showed up, so we kind of like ducked in the trees. They passed us, and we ran down the street on the main road to get to our car. So we drive, and then we end up at this beach somewhere. It's somewhere in our state. I don't remember where it was. It looked like a beach that's kind of close by, but it was further away in the dream. And we run into this dude who I hooked up with like 4 years ago. Kid's a tool for healing. He was just kind of a dick. well, I wouldn't say he's a dick, but he, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but we ran into him, and I was like, wait, guys, I know this kid, maybe he can help us. He was so preoccupied with himself and talking about himself and shit, and his own issues, that, like, by the time I was like, will you help us? He was like, no. And then he, like, kept talking, and he, like, tried to pull me away from the group, and, like, tried to get with me again. I was like, that's literally my fiance, so, like, what are you doing? So eventually I was like, you know what, guys, fuck this guy, he's not gonna help us, we gotta bounce. So we bounce, we're driving, and I guess somewhere along the way, because the dream cuts, we were caught. Because we end up, me and my friend Sandra are being escorted into this police station. And it's weird, because this police station is, like, right near a truck, like, it's almost, like, right off the highway, and there's a truck stop right next to it. It's really weird. We were dressed in, like, early 2000s, like, garb. It made, like, no sense. Like, I had a cowboy hat. I had one of those, like, halter tops that was, like, the scoop neck halter top, and it was, like, open in the back. It looks like it was made of, like, chain. And I was wearing bell-bottom, low-rise pants and, like, these crazy, like, heel boot things. But anyway, so they put us in this little, you know, this side room to, like, question us. But they just lock us in there. Like, don't even actually sit and talk with us. They're just like, we'll be with you in a while or whatever, you need to wait. So this room has a window. It only has one window, and it's really high up. It's really big and wide, but it's really high up. And there's only a table and 2 chairs. So I was like, hey, Sandra, help me push the table against the wall and we'll climb out the window. You know, we'll check out the situation first and then we'll climb out the window. And she was like, yeah, bet. So we push the table against the wall, we stand up on it, and there's a few, like, there's a trailer parked right at the window. And there's 2 guys sitting in it on the front seats, like, eating. Because the truck stop had, like, you know, like, a food court and shit in it. So they were eating, like, McDonald's or something, and they saw us, and they waved, and they smiled. And I opened the window, and they were like, what are you girls in for? And I was like, we were framed, and we need to get out of here. Because they don't believe us. And they were like, bet, we'll help you out. So, you know, we check to see the coast is clear and shit. So we help each other climb out the window. Which, obviously, this is all really unrealistic, but I was like, that would never happen. That would literally never happen. We would literally never be given the opportunity to do that. Anyway, we climb out the window, we get in these guys like Winnebago, and we fucking book it. We book it out of there. And they're kind of like, you know, they're telling us about themselves. They're like, oh yeah, we're pot farmers. And like, it was absurd. They were pot farmers from like Colorado, and they like delivered across the states and shit in their Winnebago. Like, that's literally what they did for a living. And they were like, where do you guys want to go? And we're passing through this section of the state to go south, like to get out of the state, but we were southbound. I remember we were in a specific part of town, and we were turning to get like onto the highway, and I was like, I don't know. And all of a sudden my fiance shows up, which he disappeared somewhere before we got to the police station, and then he was there again all of a sudden. And he was like, we should go somewhere far. And I was like, me and him, he's joining the Coast Guard soon. So the medical training facility is in California. So we're probably going to end up in California for a while anyway. We kind of want it to be our final destination because it's the exact opposite coast that we live on. And it's warm and yada yada yada. So in the dream that transferred, he was like, we're heading there anyway. We might as well just go there. And I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. So they were like, yeah, we make stops. We go from Colorado. We go on both coasts. We've been to both coasts. We've been down south. We've been up north. We can bring you anywhere. And we were like, yeah, bet. So we helped them deliver to a few spots because they were like, we'll help you in exchange. Just, you know, help us until we get there. And we were like, bet. So we helped them like to make these pot deliveries. And in our state, we did something in like, we did a delivery in New York. We did one in like Illinois. We did one in like Delaware, and then we got to Colorado where they had to pick up again, and then we went straight to California. And they drop us off, and they're like, you know, they gave us their numbers. They were like, call us if you need us again. And so they drop us off, they drive away. We're literally like on the side of the road, and we're like, what do we do now? And I was like, I have no fucking clue. And the dream just kind of ended there. Like I said, it was a really short dream. Didn't make a lot of sense, but I really loved it. It's one of those dreams that I feel like talking about it seems so basic and like so maybe unoriginal and unexciting, but having dreamed it and essentially lived through it, it was really, really fun. I really, really loved it. But that's all for today's video. I hope you guys really liked that dream. I have more dreams coming up. I've literally only shared, this is my 3rd dream I've shared with you guys out of 65 so far. I have plenty of dreams to share with you guys. Again, I want to do more poetry. I want to maybe read to you guys, like do a chapter at a time out of a book. Anything you guys, you know, want to hear, let me know. If there's anything you guys want me to do, let me know. Put it in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe if you like my content, and I will see you guys in the next video.